Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar presented by the Independent Living Centre of WA. The Independent Living Centre of WA is a not-for-profit organisation, and we provide a range of services that enable Western Australians of all ages and abilities to live more independent and fulfilling lives. ILC offers a range of services. This webinar is a collaboration between our ILC Tech team and Noah's Ark Toy Library. ILC Tech, which is my team, provides information, advice and training on communication equipment, computer access, assistive learning technology and environmental controls. Noah's Ark Toy Library provides support for children with disabilities and developmental delays to meet their full potential by providing access to specialised toys, resources and support. During 2014, myself, along with our therapy assistant Pip Patterson, who you can see pictured here, implemented a project at Noah's Ark, funded by an NGCS grant. The project was aimed at providing input around using simple augmentative and alternative communication supports in play to the staff and members of Noah's Ark. This webinar aims to add to the input provided at Noah's Ark by serving as an ongoing resource that staff and members of Noah's Ark, as well as the wider community, can access at their own convenience. One of the major aims of the project at Noah's Ark was to familiarise the staff and the members of Noah's Ark with a strategy known as aided language stimulation. So what is aided language stimulation? Well, children, like all of us, communicate for a range of reasons: to ask questions, to tell us what they want, to share stories and information, to role play and pretend, to share their opinions. Children who are having difficulty developing speech need access to the other methods to communicate for these same reasons. Aided language stimulation is a way of supporting children to learn how to use picture symbols as a method of communication. Aided language stimulation involves pointing to symbols as we speak so that the child experiences how they can be used to communicate for real reasons. Using aided language stimulation can also support comprehension of language, and it can promote further speech, language and communication development. One of the ways to introduce using aided language stimulation with a child is to begin by using an aided language display. An aided language display is a way of organising picture symbols to make them readily available for people to use for communication during a particular activity or routine. They typically include a range of vocabulary to interact and express a range of communication intents and messages appropriate to the activity. The vocabulary is organised to help the user combine words and build simple sentences from left to right across the display. Using an aided language display is one method of ensuring vocabulary is available and organised in a way people can readily use to provide aided language stimulation. All of us learned language by first hearing and seeing others around us use language. So, learning to use picture symbols to communicate is a bit like learning another language. If you wanted to learn to speak French, you would learn it much more quickly if you're living in France, surrounded by people speaking French all the time, than going to a French language class once a week. So children need to have lots of opportunities in their daily life to be immersed in aided language, to see and hear others using this language to communicate for real reasons throughout their day. I think this quote explains why using aided language stimulation is so important. A child who uses speech will independently select the words she wishes to use from the vast array of words she hears and sees used every day. A child who uses augmentative or alternative communication will independently select the words she wishes to use from the vocabulary other people have chosen to model and for aided symbols made available for her to use. How can I use an aided language display? So to use an aided language display, you point to the symbols for the key words on the display as you speak to your child. So using this ball display that you can see on the screen, You could model a whole range of different sentences or different words as you do the activity. So if I was to say, let's throw the ball, or my turn, or you get the ball, or where's the ball, or I want to bounce the ball, or yay, you threw the ball, or more throwing, or you've finished with the ball. There's no right or wrong answer. It's simply about modelling the words, pointing to the words as you say them. People often ask what they should do when their child touches or points to a symbol on the display. I always encourage communication partners to respond to the child's attempts as though they meant it. So when your child points to a symbol, you can encourage their attempts by reading the label out loud and responding to this as meaningful communication. For example, if a child pointed to get on this display, you could say, okay, I'll get the ball. Or you could say, oh yes, you've got the ball, you've got it, depending on the context. So sometimes children's attempts can seem random, but this is okay, and it's important to respond to all of your child's attempts as meaningful so that they can learn the power of using symbols to communicate their own messages. Children learn by observing and doing, so it's essential that we give them opportunities to babble with the picture symbols and experiment using aided language. It's similar to when children are experimenting with sounds, and we assign meaning to this babble to encourage their speech development. So if a child is saying da 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 da, we might say, Dad, yes, Dad's coming home, as a way of responding to that attempt as meaningful communication. I'm now going to show you a couple of small video clips of aided language stimulation in action.
You can have a bounce. Want me to help? Yay, bounce, 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 bounce. And stop. Can you do more? Go. Okay, ready? Go. Bounce, 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 bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Bouncing all around. And stop. Bounce, bounce. You're doing more. You're doing bouncing. Oh, I'm saying finish, Yvette. You need some help. Ready? Off. Whoop. Oh, what's that? I want something I really want more of the water. More water. Should we go over there? Yeah. Let's go.
Rolling down. It's going fast. He doesn't mean finish. Finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're all yours. All yours. You can put them on now. Because they're yours. It's rolling down. You've got more to put on because it's going down.
Another question that often comes up is, what if my child has difficulty using their hands to point? Or, oh, my child has vision impairment, how can this benefit them? So children who have difficulty using their hands to point or have vision impairment may use different methods to select items on a display. And this might include partner-assisted scanning or eye gaze. Partners may also use these alternative access techniques that the child is learning in order to specifically model how they can indicate symbols on the display. These strategies take time to learn and are best supported by a person with specific skills in this area, such as a speech pathologist who specialises in augmentative and alternative communication. The main point I'd like you to take away from this however, is that aided language displays can be customised to suit children who are learning to use these methods to access picture symbols. You could also talk to your child's speech pathologist if you have access to one, or contact the speech pathologist at the Independent Living Centre if you'd like to know more about this. Thanks for taking the time to view this webinar. I hope you found it informative and useful. If you would like to contact us at the Independent Living Centre, there are many ways you can do this. You can phone our head office on 1300 885 886. If you'd like to know more information about aided language displays or other communication aids, you could ask to speak to one of our ILC Tech speech pathologists. You can also check out our website at www.ilc.com.au, and you may be particularly interested in the ILC Tech resources available there. You're also welcome to follow us on Facebook and find out about our latest news and upcoming events. Also at our website you can find the ILC blog, which features many interesting posts by ILC staff members and other special guests. It's a great way to engage with us, voice opinions and connect with others. You can also keep in touch with us and hear about our upcoming training and events by joining our mailing list. Simply go to the subscribe box on the ILC website homepage. I've also included a list of references that I've used in compiling this information about aided language stimulation that you might want to explore further. Thanks again for taking the time to view this webinar.